The National Association of Realtors was the focus of a settlement for a national lawsuit, a class action lawsuit, that brought into question whether or not there was price fixing happening for real estate agents' commissions. And it happened in a state that is different from the practices and the laws that are happening in Maine. So I thought I'd provide a little bit of clarity on what some of those differences are and how folks who are going to be in the process of listing their home for sale or purchasing a home in the near future, how this settlement might shake out and how it might have an impact on you. In the state of Maine, we've been very fortunate to have buyer representation in writing since 2006. That allows us to establish a representation relationship. And we're here as real estate agents licensed by the state of Maine to ensure that we are providing the fiduciary duties and looking out for the best interests of our buyer clients. Now, there are 35 other states across the nation that do not have that requirement. So there are only 15 states, including Maine, that have that requirement. So we're already way ahead as far as what the settlement's impact will have on the industry overall. So what the settlement is looking to accomplish for the consumer is transparency and compensation. And again, in Maine, we've been very fortunate to already have a buyer agreement, which includes compensation disclosure. So we've been having this conversation with buyers, we've been having this conversation with sellers, and despite the confusion that may be going on nationally, we as an agency and within the state of Maine have been able to communicate what our value is for sellers and what our value is for buyers, and be able to provide that representation and looking out for the party's best interests. And by doing that, we're explaining what value we're providing, and then we get paid a commission for that value. So the settlement might change the way that we're talking about it, making sure that people have a clearer understanding, but we've always been obligated to disclose what our compensation is. And that compensation includes what we're doing for marketing and for the purposes of the listing, but then also, are we providing, as the seller client, are we providing an incentive for the buyer's agent to bring in that buyer, to have that buyer have representation, so that all parties have representation and we're looking out for their best interests and providing them with fiduciary duties.